Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. We are here hosted out of our home, The Rail in Fort Worth, Texas. Check out their calendar for events coming to you. And this is the perfect podcast to promote The Rail because today we have the dude that runs The Rail up in this bitch. We got Mr. Ethan Massey. What's going on? I felt like I saw you right now. Like, I wonder if he's thinking like how he's going to come in and that's what you decided on.
Oh, I've been overthinking this the entire time.
You were saying that you were like
looking at the camera like, okay, no, don't sit like that. Sit like this. Shirt down. Okay.
You'll see me throughout. Like, I don't get comfortable, but I'm just like doing this, and I'm realizing like I'm hunched the fuck over. Like during
I've
this,
already caught myself. I'm doing it right now.
I do the
I'm
whole
sitting there doing this.
I do the whole this shoulders back, and I do this, and I'm like, this looks weird though, right? Like this doesn't look comfortable. I don't know.
I can barely see it. Cool.
Well, I mean, we'll get this started. First of all, thank you for being here. I mean, you're usually here when I film these, so I appreciate you.
I feel like I kind of forced it on you.
Kind of forced it. It's like, hey, like, no, man. I honestly, like, first of all, I just have to like appreciate my gratitude, which I do, but I need to do a lot more. The fact that we even have a home like this year to keep doing the podcast was because like you offered this place to kind of help out and keep it going, and I appreciate that so much because it means a lot. And then already like we've had like tons, I think like 8 done this year so far.
Already?
Yeah. So
wow.
like it's super cool like to just get back into going because I mean I had not done it for like 2 months, and I'm like I was at the point where I'm like, am I gonna do it again, like or whatever? And then just like the first one that we did, I'm just like, yeah, like I'm in this bitch again. And yeah,
I look forward to it every Monday because it's like Mondays are like my weekend. It's like Friday, Saturday, I'm spent. Sunday is getting the kids and the family ready for the week for school and all that other stuff. So Monday, luckily, is my Saturday, Friday or Saturday. So being up here hanging whenever I can while y'all are just doing it and just working on stuff, I enjoy it.
Do you do well I think I figured out the term or found out the term for my fiance is body doubling, where you just like if somebody's like in the room with you, like you just tend to keep working on whatever shit you're working on. Yeah, I do that quite a bit.
Yeah, just knowing that y'all are here and you're working on stuff, like it makes me, if I'm sitting at the end of the bar or sitting up in the office, I'm just like just chucking away.
Yeah.
And so no one responds at 8 p.m. But
I mean, you've had a lot of work added on for you. I mean, how long has the Rail been back now?
Technically the grand opening was July. So we're almost coming up on a year of being like actually open. We started booking, I want to say, dude, the opening date changed every week to week.
Really?
It changed week to week. Whenever July was like a month out, we were like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. We already had, basically, we weren't going to open until later, but we put in an offer for that Powerman 5000 package, and they announced it unbeknownst to us.
Oh,
we weren't told announcement dates or ticket sales dates or anything. It just was up, and I get a call from Pallone. He's like, I guess we're opening July 4th, whatever it was. It was July 4th through the 7th or 8th. I don't know. It was Thursday through Sunday, which when you haven't worked shows in almost a year and you come in and do 4 days in a row, by like day 2, we're like, I don't know how we're going to make it.
Yeah.
Like, we're so tired. We're so done. But yeah, we're almost to a year. July will be a year.
Definitely like a symbolic day to open, though. Like, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
his birthday.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't even know that. It was just like the birth of America.
Yeah. July 4th is Pallone's birthday.
I feel like, I mean, they're all like these like little like symbolism things. Even like the new like logo for the Rail, like the Phoenix is like really fucking cool.
Yeah, he sent me some logos that he did. Of course, I sent it to Daniel.
Another Daniel Hambright shout out, and I would every time it comes up, I'll be like,
oh yeah,
yeah.
It's been 13 years.
Wow.
He did his first music video and my first music video ever, and that's where it all soundings and jaded. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
No, he sent me the logo that he just drew up, and I was like, all right, let me send this to my guy. And Daniel, it's always first try. It's first try. It's on there. And I sent it to Palone. He goes, "That's the one." And then we get the couple renditions of like Just the Rail, Live Long, all. Yeah, and the first try.
Yeah,
and he always had those. Palone always had those sayings of "Rise from the ashes." Something else.
Yeah. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's OC, your host for the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. And I know what you're saying. Another ad on this podcast. Yes, but this one, you can help support the podcast. You might be seeing these beautiful Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast hats here on the table, where they're not just for decoration. We're selling these hoes, okay? This podcast, I don't get paid for this, so I need some money. Let's try to do that again. Less desperate. These hats look very cool, and it would be very cool of you to buy one to put on your head and look even more cool than you already do, all right? If you want to tell people that you have impeccable taste, that you listen to all types of music, and you listen to the best podcast in the entire world or tri-state area, or maybe just this area here, this is the best podcast in this room, probably, then you should get one of these hats so that you can help support a local business and a local podcast, and so you can help support artists to come here and talk shit, okay? That's the whole point of this. But yes, go to NoiseROT.com to pick out your Chill Sounds and Breakdowns hat or other merch. We got stickers, we got pins, pick something up, and thank you for supporting the podcast. So, I mean, that is a big question, and we've kind of just like talked about like when y'all decide like to take it over and stuff like that. But that is an interesting like question I want to propose to you, is like coming into the rail, like after seeing iteration after iteration of this place going and not only just seeing like, but coming through it and like being part of like this place before like you take the reins on it. How does that feel coming into it as you now running it? And how do you think that's affecting like the way you think about legacy in any capacity?
I've worked at Rail on and off for a decade. So I started at Tomcats, and I worked there I worked there definitely more with Rustin and for Rustin, and then took it over for a brief period of time. But during those times, there were certain. I think Rustin was trying to get involved with this place or be a part owner or something like that. And it was when the stage was still where the bar is, wasn't moved yet. And I had to come in here, and I was like Doyle from Misfits, like guitar person. But I had a new job starting the next day at like 4 a.m. Rustin didn't want to pay me in time or something like that. So I was like, whatever you're doing, I got to go. Yeah. And so that was just about 10 years ago. And I've been bar back, I've been bartender, I've been security, I've done box office, I've done promoter, and then GM in 2023 for both Rail and Rob's, and then lucked out and somehow became part owner in 2020, the end of 2023, right at the beginning of 2024, something like that. Yeah.
Did you ever like when that moment happens, like, but before the moment happens of you like becoming part owner of this place, like, is that something you'd ever like seem as a possibility, or like even thought about, be like, oh, like if especially, I mean, maybe when you were being GM, where it's like, oh, if I like ran this place kind of.
Whenever I was doing the GM thing, I already felt like I was, like, because it was all my shows. I was doing the hiring, firing, staffing, scheduling. I was doing everything, payroll, you name it, I was doing. I was doing the exact same thing I'm doing now, minus paying the bills.
Okay.
So I guess that's the only difference. But as far as like right before me and Palone had a conversation about coming in here and trying to do this again, like he had to convince me. There were some things where I brought up, and I was like, I don't want it to do what it did in the past, and seeing all the other owners up until this point, and then me being here, because Palone wasn't involved at all in 2023. 2020, same year, the end of the year, whatever, because this shut down summer of 23. And then it was right at the end of the year when he was like, hey, I need to talk to you. Like, I was literally filling out my Indeed application. It was the weirdest thing. I was filling out the Indeed like resume thing. Yeah. Of just updating everything. I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I just worked at 2 venues and ran 2 venues for give or take a year. And now I have nothing. And I'm sitting there just at my home office, and updating my resume and everything. And I get a text from Pallone. What are you doing, Pumpkin? I was like, I instantly knew there was something.
You up to something.
Because first of all, he's never that nice.
The
to
pumpkin.
begin with. He's never calling me nice words. I think the first text I sent to him, I said, what is it? What's happening now? And he hit me with the rail stuff. I was like, that was the weirdest thing. I was literally filling out a resume, trying to figure out what I was going to do after running these venues. And he hits me with, this is what we're going to do. I said, fuck yeah, we are.
Yeah.
But we got to have a couple conversations
before that.
Yeah.
But still, like in the moment, you're like literally asking, like, what am I going to do? And then it doesn't
it's very weird.
But the idea, like, is like presented to you, like at the same time. That's crazy.
That's the thing with this place. Everyone, our bartenders have been here. Jay and Warren have been here for over a decade. Pallone has been here on and off for like almost a decade, I think. And I've just been working on and off here for a decade. And we all have these weird, like, divine, like, I'm not religious. I'm not like all the ghost shit in here. I've never seen nothing, but this place does have a weird thing to it where things just kind of end up working out, regardless of all the hair that I pull out and how stressed I am. I think I've doubled in grays since I've been here a little over a year.
Yeah.
But it does have a weird thing to it where whatever it is that you need to work out, it's somehow someone hits you up randomly. It's just whatever it is that you need, it ends up working. It's very strange.
Yeah. I mean, even like being able to host this podcast here, even for me, was like, oh shit, I get to be a part of this place. Like when I had a band, like we were playing here, like I think the first battle bands we won was across the street at Tomcats. Yeah, I guess that is across the street. But I remember playing that stage.
One?
No, I've told that story though. I think you heard it last time we were here, but that's the one we lost. But no, we played one. I think Light the Fire was judging it that night, and it was like their old version of them. Like yeah. So I don't know what it was for. It's for something, maybe just for money. I don't know. But yeah, I remember playing the stage that was over here or whatever. But even that, like when we had our EP release show, like we had that here, and that's to this day one of my favorite shows because we like literally played with all of like all my favorite bands here. Like everybody fucking showed up here. No, that one. Let me see who was on that bill. Trials of Man. Via Versus.
Oh
yeah,
I love
fucking Via Versus is so fucking.
They were
good.
they full stacks on stage. Didn't give a shit. Dude. They were so rock and roll. They were the best local. They were my favorite local.
They are on that list for me of like their EP to this day. Like if you go back and listen to it, like holds the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like Melancholia is the name of the EP. But Via Versus was definitely one of those bands that for like me, I was like, oh, I'm a fucking fan. Like I'm not just like I know these guys, I've played shows, like I've seen those. I was like, oh no, I fucking like these guys are really fucking good. But yeah, like being able to like have that history and then coming to shows here and then like, oh, like now I get to do this here, you know. So it and hearing the stories like from everybody like who was worked here, passed through here, and now you know, being like, oh, like there is like something like special about this place. It's kind of neat.
It is weird. It was built in '83, so there's a strip club. It was.
That's right.
It's been even my grandparents are like, oh, we used to go there when it was Katie Lynn's, and we'd sit back at the back door of the bar and dance on. I get. We have delivery people that show up and they're 60 years old. They're like, didn't this used to be Fast Time something? I'm like, maybe.
Dang.
Like, yeah, but I used to come here 40 years ago. Or not 40. Oh, yeah, 40 years
maybe,
ago.
Yeah,
40. Yeah, everyone has a story over here.
Fucking the 80s or 40 years ago. Fuck that. I hate thinking about shit like that.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
That's right. There's a shower back there that no one knows about.
There's a shower?
Yeah, it's next to the secret bathroom. I'm not. Well, I
don't
know if this sees where I'm pointing. I don't know where I'm at, but there's
don't point it because people use context and be like, I'm gonna take a shit in the toilet.
That's the best one to do it in. There's a shower next to it. No one knows about it, but there's a hole that you can see through it. They just boarded up.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's weird. No one will let me knock it down. I'm like, the merch area would be so much bigger.
Yeah.
No one will let me knock it down. They're like, the stripper ghost is going to get out.
The stripper needs to wash out the evil, man. I don't know. The splooges. I don't know. We're talking about ghost strippers now, man. There's got to be a few in here.
Okay. We'll go into the hunter stuff. So that night definitely freaked me out. I will say, recently I haven't really had anything in here, like feelings or any shit like that. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I literally just heard that.
That's what I'm saying.
Right when you're saying, like, I haven't heard anything.
I'm saying. That's been happening for the last 3 days. That has been happening the last 3 days, but I've been up here in the office. Yeah. I'm like, I thought someone was here because I was expecting the office to get in. Yeah. I was expecting the office, our admin to come in or Palone to come in, and he finally walks in, and I'm literally checking the upstairs like storage area, and he walks in. I scared the shit out of him. I was like, "Have you been here the whole time?" And he freaks out because I'm standing over there where you're not supposed to. He didn't expect me up there.
Oh yeah.
And no, I was like, I thought you were here 30 minutes ago. I've been hearing people coming up the stairs, all sorts of stuff, but it was windy. I'm trying to take it with a grain of salt, but the entire time I've been here in 2023, it was definitely when I had those, like, sitting at the end of the bar, I'm closing up the end of the night.
It keeps happening.
What the hell?
There's some
closing up at the end of the night, and I'll be sitting at the end of the bar with music blaring through the PA, whatever it was, doing reports or something, doing all the numbers, and all of a sudden, I will just get this chills all the way from the very top of my head all the way down to my feet. Just sitting at the end of the bar, and then everything in me told me, do not look above that sound booth, and do not look where the little corner is on the bar upstairs. Everything told me to just walk out, pack up your shit, and just walk out. And I would just kind of like do this number. And as every step that I take towards the door is just chills with every single step. And I'm like, it's gonna get me, but I've never seen anything. Yeah. Never seen anything. Never really heard anything. I don't know what the hell that was.
Literally, it's 3 times. And it's different intensities.
Like the loose back door or something. I don't know, but I don't like that.
This is the win. I'm telling myself that. If there is a ghost here, we're just going to talk for like an hour. It's fine. It's fine.
I have had my...
And you can have your...
Warren, our bartender, he's been here for 13, 14 years. Mm-hmm. He's gone through every single owner. But he used to tell me these stories of he'd get just, annihilated in here so long ago, and he'd get to the point where he'd start yelling at the ghosts to show themselves. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. I was like, that's so dumb. I've now had a handful of those moments where, like, it's late, show's been over, and I'm just a couple drinks in, and I'm like, you know what? Do it. Show yourself. Do it. And nothing ever happens. And then I freak myself out and I leave.
And then you're like, you know what? Never mind. I thought I was brave enough. The drinks are wearing off. And I don't want to do this anymore.
Everyone's got some weird little ghost story in here.
Yeah. It's funny because when I posted that clip, which we were talking about earlier, like people were volunteering about like, oh, like we can go check it out. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I literally thought it was like, oh, if they're like legit ghost hunters is
if you're a legit ghost hunter.
But if you got tools and shit,
we've been talking about doing the lock-ins. Come here and do it.
Yeah,
we'll do it. We'll stay here all night.
That'd be fucking interesting. I was like, that'd be funny. I'm like, no one, that's not funny. I take y'all serious.
We've had multiple people like Skasha. He's up on the wall. Mm-hmm. He passed away right there on stage.
Yeah,
like mid-set. And that's who Hunter said he saw.
That's a rigor mortis, right? Was the man?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy.
Oh, okay.
And he I believe it was a heart attack right on stage. And
that's nuts. I remember when they first told me that, and it was, I think we had played that stage, and someone was like, "Oh yeah, like it's got a story or whatever," and I was like, "Damn, someone died on stage."
Whenever it wasn't the rail a few years ago, some like after parties club. Maybe City Limits or City Nights, something like that. Within 3 to 4 months, they already had a shooting in here. And they shut it down and then turned right back into rail. They painted everything gray, like gray. They didn't serve any alcohol. They had like juices. It was a after hours club. It was like 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., something like that. To my understanding. I didn't know that. But I just saw pictures of it, and it was clean as you would ever seen it. Everything's gray. No alcohol behind the bar. They would sell like tacos and juice. That's it.
Tacos after hours club. I feel like that would bank.
I never came here whenever it was that. I don't think they ever had like events or anything either. I don't know what it was. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't be doing that at my age anymore. Like, you know what?
No, this is my after hours.
Let's go out. Dude, I got to be out the house by like 6:37 if I'm doing anything. Yeah, man, you've done it kind of all. Like, because normally when someone steps into like, let's say running a venue from like, I know them like playing in like a band or something, it's like, oh, okay, this is like a different new step or whatever. But you've done a shit ton of things outside of like music for like the past years that I've known you. Like, you've always like jumped on one thing and like another. Like, how do these like ideas happen for you? Like, how you're like, this is what I want to try next? Because you've like done a merch line, you've done you've done booking like under your own like management. Like
I guess it technically, well, I did the band stuff all first. Like, I've been playing in bands since I was 18. That started first, and then it turned into every job that I got just benefited the band in some way. So the next job after, like, I worked bullshit jobs and all that before I was like 7, I think. I started making T-shirts. I did T-shirts for nearly a decade. It was off and on with different T-shirt shops, and then I worked at like 2 or 3, and then I went and ran I was still working at Tomcats like part-time, and then it came to the point where Rustin got really sick and I needed to run it. So I ran it for a little less than a year, and then ended up going right back to T-shirts. And so it was just back and forth. Like, I'd be working a part-time job, parking like these crazy rallied out Toyota Camrys in the Colony with Jonathan Russell. And then I would drive all the way from the Colony, North Richland Hills, the Colony to here. Shit. And I'd bar back. And so I'd work all morning there, bar back here. And I did that for about a year, and it was just bouncing around. But the T-shirts really did it for me of why not just start a merch line? I have this what is it called?
It's one of those DTG printers,
yep,
right? Yeah.
That's it, DTG. And I did Hate Threads for a long time, which actually did pretty good. And then I was like, that name's stupid. I changed it to Divine Omen Co. Didn't sell a single T-shirt.
I loved Hate Threads, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I saw the design. I love the designs that they were coming up with. Like all of them like were really cool. But I remember I bought one, and I'm like, I fucking love this shirt because I think it was one of the first times I experienced Bella Canvas, and I was just like, this is a nice, comfortable shirt. And then like, I think I was going on a trip to Mexico, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy 6 of these. Yeah. So every day, so I was just wearing that shit over there, and I'm like, yeah, I can get behind this. And I remember like a little while later is when you like shut that down. It started. I
know.
I was gonna get behind something.
I don't know what I was thinking, but it was working. But I guess I thought Hate Threads was too kiddie. I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe that's
what I worked on.
I need to mature a little bit more. We'll call it Divine Omen Co. I think I stole it from like Jeff. He wanted to call some skate, our old drummer. He wanted to call some skate thing Divine something. I was like, that's cool. Jeff, is it cool if I use Divine Omen Co. for change the name? And of course, I get flack from all the dispo guys. And tried it, didn't sell literally did not sell a single one. Like, Hate Threads was actually moving where I would start seeing it out in the wild. Divine didn't do a single one.
I think it and this is just from somebody on the outside who like saw it. It's just like it felt like Dispo had a brand.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I
would sell it at the merch booth.
Yeah. So I think that's what like attracted me to it. And I'm like, and to me, because again, it just seemed like something really cool. I'm like, oh shit, they got their own brand of shit. Like, it's not just like the band's merch. Like, oh, they also like make all this other stuff. And I'm like, that's really cool. I'm like, that felt like
that's when our merch booth. Like, whenever I worked in T-shirts, our merch booth was like top
We got some crazy shirts.
I had this rule that we would never reprint a shirt. So it's like you get it when you get it, and if you don't get it, it's not going online. It's not going anywhere. You get it from this show or whatever shows we have it in stock for. And then that's it. And we do, because Daniel was right there with us. Yeah. So we just had everything to our disposal of, we sold out of this shirt. And use that money to buy your next order. And it just becomes this weird snowball where it just turned into like, well, shit, I did hate threads and I'd sell it at the merch booth and it'd kind of work. And then I had a bunch of online orders where I'd just print the order and I would put like Easter eggs inside the shirts.
Oh, really?
Print little like if you like lifted it up just so it'd say like fuck you on like your tongue.
Yeah.
And no, it was really fun for a long time. And then I ended up leaving the shop that I was at that had the DTG printer. Where did I go after that? Oh yeah, I went to another t-shirt shop that I hated. It was supposed to be like a part-time thing. And went back to like that, just the grind of just Jesus.
It's gonna keep
just
doing it.
Getting told when to go to lunch, getting told when to clock in, clock out, having to put in for all in like I thought Tomcats was a one and done thing. I was like, I'm never gonna find another job where I work for myself unless I do it myself. And then me and Terry Johnson ended up it's the weirdest thing. I can't tell you exactly how we met. I've told this story so many times. Cannot tell you how me and Terry Johnson, he owned Big Rob's. He used to be involved in rail, got out of rail, opened Big Rob's, and then he ended up buying back into rail. That's how I got back into it in 2023.
Oh, okay.
So very elaborate, but I'm not sure how me and him linked up. I know we used to talk, and then like we planned a couple meetings that never happened, and then it just, all I remember is we did merch shop at Rob's.
Yeah.
And then it turned into doing it at Rail. And then it turned into, I don't know, it was weird. But we started off, I can't remember where I was going with that.
Trajectory of odd jobs and doing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's how kind of got here.
Yeah, I left that t-shirt job as soon as I found out that me and Terry, I say GM, but we're basically partners in a sense. Like I was doing all the stuff that he didn't want to do, and then doing all booking for 2 venues. I don't wish it upon anybody.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Staffing, payroll, booking. It's insane. Driving back and forth like 40 minutes from like here to there and back like 2 or 3 times in a night. Whew.
In a night? Ooh.
Oh, yeah. We'd have a national here, and then we'd have a national over there that I'm like, just not micromanaging, but just making sure everyone's okay.
Yeah.
Like, what do y'all need? I'm on my way. Do I need to pick up anything? Do I need to pick up sodas or limes or whatever it is? Because I'd have to pay out both shows at the end of the night because I was the only one that knew the payout stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was nuts.
It's nuts, but that is cool that you are like an owner like that you're like, you are there in case some shit needs doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, being able to come to shows or be at shows or even like if you're a promoter throwing shows here and then you being at the end of the bar is like, okay, like you need anything? Like, it's like right there.
Oh, yeah. It freaks me out not being here. I think I've not been at one rail show in the last year. I think it's because I was at a wedding. I don't know. I don't think I was at one, and it just freaked me out the whole time. Nope, I was at Taylor's bachelor party. That's what it was, and it was a TCU event. So there was.
So you were shitting bricks at the party.
There
couldn't
was
even
like
relax.
600-700 college kids in here pissing in my mop buckets, and I just God knows what in here. And I have Zaylin running sound for me, just sending me pictures while I'm at the beach of just people upon people, just so many.
It's giving you more anxiety.
Yeah,
at the beach.
he goes,
like, I'm trying to relax.
It is crazy in here. And he doesn't really work those shows ever, so he's freaking out. And I hit up my bartenders like, is everything okay? They're like, yeah, they're not even really drinking that much. So I was like, All right, Zaylen, stop, please.
That'd be me if I was ever here for one of those, because I've heard the stories and I'm like, that shit sounds
Dude,
fucking crazy.
They're the reason I literally had to put like kidnapper deadbolts on all the doors. They go into our mop closet and we had a dry mop bucket, nothing in it. At the end of the night,
hold on, I already know.
It was that full from the top. With tampons.
From the top?
Yes. They all pissed in it so much. It was that full from the top. A full-size mop bucket with tampons and pads and whatever else they could grab in there to throw in it.
Yeah.
Is our security had to just walk it out back and pour it out. And they all pee along the sides of the back of the building. They bust them in.
Yeah.
So they can't leave in a car or anything. So they bust them all in. And
that's what was wild to me when you told me that. Where they literally drop them off in a bus and it's like, get fucking shit faced. We'll bust you back.
8 p.m. first bus shows up. We'll maybe have if it's a crazy one, it's like 6 to 8 buses, and they show up all the way up until about 9:30, and by 11:30 they're all gone. It's just 3 to 3.5 hours of just pure chaos. Like you can't. I usually sit in the sound booth because I'm running the DJ. Mm-hmm. Like I just had to randomly run the Little Rich Kid.
Oh yeah. No. Who you said?
Little Rich Boy. I can't remember.
Rich the Kid.
Rich the Kid. Yeah. Like they brought in him a couple weeks ago. We've had Waka Flocka in here.
Yeah.
But I just have to stay there and just really pay attention to the DJ because I can't even walk from there to that bar. Like there's no way.
There's
crazy. Absolutely no space to walk from there. That we have to put up all the tables, all the chairs, everything.
Man. Yeah. So you're telling me you could book private events here at the Rail?
You can book private events here at the Rail.
Wow. So you can do shows, private events, whatever you want to do.
You want to throw a yoga class in this place. Here it is. The floor looks like a bowling ball. Get after it.
Go, therail.com. I don't know what the website is.
Therailclub.net.
.net. Okay. There's that plug. Was that subtle? Man, you were talking about, you mentioned Rustin earlier and Tomcats, and I kind of want to just maybe dive a little bit deeper into like him as a person. So I got into the scene what I consider late, as far as like the Rustin era is concerned. And I say that because like from what I hear, like it was an era like kind of defined like by him. Like he was like such a cool dude.
Oh, he's an asshole.
Well, like that's what I'm saying. Like from a far away. Like I didn't know him, but I remember. Oh, damn it! There's like one interaction I had with him, and I'm like, oh, this dude's like, and it was like an asshole thing that he said, but it was very like real and like
he
true.
Shit talk you?
Yeah, no, it was. I think it was about the band. He's like, yeah, and it was something.
It'd be cool if y'all didn't suck.
Something very like real like that, and I'm just like, or it was to the fact like, oh, just play what you want kind of things. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, who thinks what's cool? And it's like something I'm like, it's very fucking simple. But it was in a time where I'm joining a scene where I think like, who do I need to be like to be successful? And it was just hit at the right moment where I'm like, you could just make shit that you want to do. And I'm like, fucking cool. But then I've heard like DJ who was like in a band called Arsenal Failure who played like Tomcats for
holy shit, he was?
Yeah. He was a guitar player and vocalist for that.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, no, like my first show I think going to Tomcats was one of his, and then the next time I went was Void the Atlantic. You know who that is?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had them here, too.
Yeah.
This place played with them, too.
Was them.
I was in Void the Atlantic for like a second.
But
Jonathan, he did our sign.
Jonathan's fucking cool. Yeah. Which, oddly enough, I met him when I was going to TCC randomly, and I think I had auditioned to be in Void the Atlantic. Yeah. I didn't make it, and I'm so happy.
His drummer and his bassist, and he started soundings again. My bad.
But... yeah, like I just heard like a lot of things from him. I just thought like what was like the experience of just like him as a person.
I started going to Tomcats at 20, but I told him I was 21. Didn't check my ID, nothing like that. So I just started drinking there. I had a full-time job. I already had a kid. And I just, on a whim, asked him, I was like, dude, if you ever need like, I've never worked security a day in my life. But for some reason that night, I told him, if you ever need a security guard, I'll do it. Because to me, working in a venue, it's like so mysterious. How do you get in this world? How do you get in there? Like, clearly it's like super hard to get in. It's like, no, it's not. Just ask them.
Yeah.
Because we desperately need people. I'm telling you, like, for everything. Yeah, I just asked, and about a week or so later, I get a text while I'm at my full-time job. He goes, "Hey, can you work security tonight?" It's like a random Wednesday or Thursday. I was like, "Sure." And I couldn't even tell you what show it was. I want to say it wasn't For the Fallen Dreams. I don't know. Some random show where he just basically told me, you need to sit at the back door and just look mean. And at that time, I'm 20. The only thing I could wear was a chin strap. I had spiked up hair. And just look like a douchey. I look so douchey. Way douchier than now. I know this is douchey, but douchey.
I know this is douchey.
But no, he had this weird knack for shit talking people artistically. Like, he could say the meanest shit to somebody. He would hurt he'd almost bring me to tears. And then right when I'm right there, he has me laughing. It was the straight, like, I didn't know if he hated me. I didn't know if he hated my band. And then, like, it was just weird. And the camp was over there, and we were like this weird trio where, like, they had a pass together, but I was the new guy. And then I was there. I ended up, the day I turned 21, maybe a few days later, I walked in there, and he, like, implemented these new rules. Yeah. And I wasn't working or anything, so I gave him my ID so he could scan it or something, some new computer thing. And I see him look at it, look at me, look at it, I go, fuck. He goes, "This your brother's ID or something?" No, I don't have a brother. And he's like, he threw the ID back at me. "You motherfucker.
Yeah.
I've been serving you for a year." And I was like, "Oh, my bad." I didn't get served anything that night. Oh yeah, he's pissed.
Yeah.
And it felt like your dad was mad at you.
Yeah.
It was awful, but you're like, "Hey, fuck you, dude, I'm 21, not good." He said, "No, you had my liability in here for almost a year." And yeah, we had this weird thing. It was just, his dynamic was, he would give you the best advice ever, but in the meanest way, where you had to, like, unpack it. And God, I went from security to, I did the front door for the longest time, where I had to learn to be an asshole.
Really? And
he was like, "Go tell that guy to fuck off." I'm like, no. He goes, "If you don't, you're gone." Fuck. So I'd have to tell these people that are breaking the rules and breaking laws, and that's where I learned of, like, oh, these people aren't real. They're just here. I tell them one thing, and then I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And that's where it all started kind of clicking. I wasn't booking shows then. I wasn't doing any of that. His rule was 25 dates a month, 25 shows a month.
Damn.
And we did that he did it by himself for years. And to this day, none of us know how he did it just by himself.
It's a shit ton of shows.
25 events. I mean, sometimes it's a little less, sometimes it's more.
Still, yeah.
But we had Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit over there. We had Bam Margera. We had Periphery.
Craziest fucking shows.
We had Kubla Khan over there a million times. I need to get him here, please. We had shows that had no business being over there, which opened my eyes to, I guess, seeing outside of the shows and seeing outside of the events and seeing what it truly was doing, where I could look at it from, like, a 3D, like, you're looking at it from Google Maps, and when you have these hundreds of people going to this one little location in this random part of Altamere, Camp Bowie, west side of Fort Worth. But you got to think of when the show's over. They all they hit the gas stations, they hit the food places, they hit the other bars that are around there. So this whole community, just from this one show that had 300 to 500 people there, are all going out and seeing, and, like, just stimulating the economy. Is that what it is?
Oh yeah,
I guess I didn't want to say that.
Yeah, very stimulating.
But I guess I started looking at it that way, and that changed my whole perspective on booking events and shows, and seeing, like, we here at Rail, we do a show that has 700 people here. They're not just because we end our shows before midnight. There's no sense of being open until 2 a.m. as a venue. No one wants to pay for $7-8 beers. No, they can go across the street and grab. That's why we don't have any competition. Like, we encourage people to go across the street to all the dive bars and all the other bars on West Side, or just go other places to, like, they wouldn't have been there. That demographic would have not been there if they weren't for here. Like, we took Peter Dante over to Home Plate. Everyone lost their minds buying drinks, and now they had an uptick in all their sales because we had a crazy night here. So that's what I know. I kind of went off on a tangent, but yeah, that's where I started looking at it as, with the whole Rustin opened my eyes to the way bigger picture, other than just like, oh, I'm gonna book a show.
Yeah. You definitely like need those type of people to guide you in the right, because otherwise, like, I've am known to be very like small picture, like, and it takes a few conversations with people who like have experience with like seeing a bigger picture, be like, this could be this, and I'm just like, no, it can't. And then being like, oh, can it? Then it just like adds that little bit of like idea in your brain. I'm like, well, maybe it can. And then you start fucking around a little bit. It's like, oh, maybe I can like do this. Little by little,
kicks in.
It's fucking. It's really great to like have those like conversations and just people, and that's what I heard a lot from like people who interacted like with Rustin. And for me, like, Tomcats was my first like real like a venue that was also like the hangout. That's where I started. Like, I think I mentioned this a bit, like when we finally started having like concerts or stuff like that and shows after COVID and shit, was like, oh, I never had to like call a friend to be like, let's hang out, because we were always hanging out at like a show. And like, but Tomcats was my first experience in like, oh, like, who's playing this weekend or who's playing today or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you can just go and you're going to see somebody, and you're going to meet somebody else. And it had that. We
had so many events that we had regulars.
Yeah.
Just to come
see shows. Yeah.
And we wouldn't even charge them either, because we know they're going to pay $100 at the bar. So it makes sense. And yeah, there's so many shows there that we had regulars. It was so strange. I've never seen it anywhere else.
And that's what I love to see and be a part of, creating that for like the younger generations of stuff like that. Like, I've had like sometimes where it's like these kids like first show coming to like one of like the NoiseROT shows or something, and I'm like, and then they leave and I hear them talking and I'm like, these kids are fucking hooked. Yeah. Like, they had the moment, like, where it's just like, I want to fucking come to all my shows, whether they know like their friend's band's playing. That's the one that'll do it for you. If you play in a band, or if your friend does, and then you show up and it's just it's literally all your friends hanging out together.
Yep.
And we're seeing like your friend, and it's,
you get to experience that weird, cool thing that is a live show, or the adrenaline and all that together.
And I love seeing it come from like kids who like maybe have experienced like a huge concert, and like, and I get it, because that's how I came from it, where I was just like, that's what concerts are. Like, it's this giant thing. And then seeing like this intimate setting where I'm like, not only like is it intimate, where like these people like are right here in front of me, I can talk to them like after this, but it's also like where it becomes personal, where I'm like, oh, I know these people now. Like, these, like that, I know the guy that's playing up there. Like, oh, I know this song that he's about to play, that like, it's, you also get like this little exclusivity thing where it's like, oh, like, I'm here now with this thing, like, that not a lot of people know. And that's why I think the more like I grew in it, and the more like, because booking shows like it's still like not something that I do. I just kind of help, but being part of building those shows and that community, and being like, oh, that's important. That's this kind of stuff that I want to make sure that I help out and create those moments for people, because like because I know how important those were like to me, and like all the people that I've met. Like, getting like, I mean, you're one of them for sure. Like, we like met just because shows, playing shows somewhere like along the lines, and then we just like start hanging out. Like, again, it's one of those where I'm like, I don't know when, like I don't know when, but it was there, and like there's so many people that I'm like, oh yeah, like we met.
I think that's like majority of the group of people. There's some weird past with some type of show or band or something. That's majority of people in my life now, I think. Weirdly enough, me and Pallone met when we were 18, when he was running a show in Mansfield at the Texas Fairgrounds, and my old band Rise of the Buried, he booked us out there, and we ended up playing a festival with Fit for a King. They were on what was before Creation Destruction? before they were signed. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I threw a fit and told Palone we're not playing on the side stage. We're playing on the main stage because we had this rapport with him already. And it was Fit for a King that he put on the side stage, and they had like 300 people over there watching him, and we had 3.
Oh, fuck.
I was like, I guess it doesn't matter what stage it is. And me and him go back that far, but back to the kid thing, that's why I make sure whatever shows that I can make all ages here, I try to make sure they're all ages. I got kids. I got a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old. And my 13-year-old is obsessed with music. She can play drums, play guitar, sing, play piano, all by ear. And she's doing it. I think I started at 15, but she's doing way more than I was doing, and she's 13. But we had a show here with Dispo, and she figured out she could scream. So we brought her up on stage. I don't remember. Maybe it was the grand opening. I can't remember what show it was. Shit ton of people out in the crowd, and she comes out there for our Linkin Park cover and screams the entire thing with Zaylin. And we have videos and pictures, and it's just, I'm bawling on stage. And that's, like you said, I really want this next generation, because there's not a whole lot of places that still do all ages and really cater to, like I had the door in Fort Worth. That's where I would drive out there from Keister, and just hoping there was a show, not really knowing how it worked. If it was a weekday or a weekend, it was summer. We're just trying to find something to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'd luck out and there'd be a show. And that's where I met a bunch of my friends I'm still friends with now that bring forth the fallen, Craig, Jonathan, Trent, and Ryan Trent. I don't remember the rest of them, but no, I went out there and they were just playing a random show to nobody. And it was just me and my friend in there, and we were like, holy shit, this is so cool. I think I was 16.
The door in Fort Worth was technically, I hate that I missed like
turned into the bandwagon.
The era, yeah, I missed the era when it was doing well. But I heard
I never saw any of the crazy sold out like Bring Me the Horizon and Asking Alexandria.
That's the one I went to. Like it was literally, but
I never got to see those.
So this, I guess too. So there's my friend had a band. I take that back. My friend's boyfriend had a band.
Okay.
And he would play at the door for, it was a band called Rest Aside. And then I think it was called All Flights Delayed. I used to make fun of it until like enough to where I'm like now, and it was mostly because like I like that girl. So I'm like, oh, this guy sucks. So I'm going to make fun of his band as much as possible. And then it got to the point where I'm like, I know these songs. Like, and then I was just like, it is kind of cool that you wrote songs with like your friends and you're playing shows. And I'm like, that's kind of sick. So I think that's like where I got incepted a little bit with that. But there was shows that I missed, like that bands that I ended up really liking later was Knockout Kings. Like they played there. They were like a Dallas band, real super poppy band. They're super good still to this day, I think. And it was like I didn't even know it was a Christian band, but it was like one of the first like heavy bands that I remember thinking about. Well, just by heavy, they just had screams in it. But it was a band called In Fair Verona.
Everyone knows In Fair Verona.
Yeah, and
is that the one that turned into Indirections?
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
In Fair Verona, or maybe it was into Euphony.
No, Euphony. Euphony became Hollow
Wealth.
Hollow Wealth. And till the day I die, I will never stop fucking pleading them to bring that band back together.
I was so starstruck.
Lucas, you fucking bring
my second band recorded one of our singles with Crabtree. And I was just like, tell us everything. This is before what's his name went to Crown the Empire, and he was giving us the inside scoop, and I was like 18 or 19, something like that. And I was just like, holy shit, we're in Plano. I'm from Keister. We're like, you just keep going west and you just don't stop until it's just nothing but country.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up, my graduating class was 100. So I'm driving out to Plano, meeting with this guy that his band's like so sick. They're touring Texas and all this other stuff, and they play with these crazy bands. This way before we were playing with nationals and stuff, and just getting starstruck of. I saw them at the door in Fort Worth, and just seeing all the community was just so wild. I didn't know how expansive it was. That was very early on.
Yeah.
It was so nuts.
That's how I felt, and I still didn't get it when Bring Me the Horizon. When I went to that, because literally it was
Pray
like
for Plague's album tour.
Jesus.
Yes.
Wow.
I
literally went to it because again, like I was such a fucking little bitch boy in high school. So I had like a crush on some other girl, and she like Bring Me the Horizon, and I like knew it by name.
Yeah.
Like I literally listened to Paper Plagues like the day of the show. I just like I looked up Bring Me the Horizon. I'm like, oh, they're coming to town. Bought tickets.
Damn, this had to be MySpace, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get into them till Suicide Season.
Yeah, I didn't fucking know them.
Wow.
But I remember looking up that and I was like, oh, this shit is fucking crazy to me. I didn't listen to anything heavy.
I'm so
I was just
jealous.
like, I was like, okay, well, don't be too jealous because I'll tell you what happened. So I show up and I get to see Misery Signals.
Wow.
And this was, again, one of my first like experiences with this type of music, but they were touring together.
Fucking tour.
And they, their power goes out on their last song. The power just shuts down. And this is probably when I fell in love with the idea of being a frontman. Because like this man was like continued the fucking song. Crowds like singing it with them. It's just screams. It's like half the fucking song left.
Man.
And it's just like this like I just got goosebumps just thinking about it. Like I'm just, because this is my first experience with anything like this. I don't listen to music like this or anything like that. And I'm just like sitting there like, this guy's controlling the whole I mean, the room was fucking packed. It's like the whole room, like, is just, like, I just couldn't, like, and I was like, this is down the road. I live in the neighborhood. Before, I live, like, can't be 10 minutes. It's got to be, like, 5 to 7 minutes from that place. And I'm just like, this is happening right here. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then, like, power went out, so they're like, oh, the show's canceled. But I just, like, that's enough for me. I just witnessed something.
Wait, they can't,
great.
the show,
Canceled it. Everybody's leaving. Well, some people are sticking around. But I'm like, I guess the power's out because they're like, it's over. So he went to go eat pizza, and then the power comes back.
The pizza right there across the little,
yeah. So, and then we come back, and it's like, oh, the power's back. And we're like, cool, let's go back in. And then they're like, we're at capacity. And it's like, the fuck do you mean? Like, I bought a ticket, like, whatever.
It was canceled 5 minutes ago.
They literally, they started selling tickets again when the power came back to new people. Because there was a huge crowd outside.
That had to have been like a 300 cap room.
Had to be. Yeah, it was small.
I think so. It was about the size of Tomcats.
Because that was before they tore, I don't know if you remember, but they had a wall like where the bathrooms were at the back, and then they tore it down and made a little bit more space.
They tear it down to make it the bandwagon?
It was right before it turned into bandwagon.
Okay.
Because I remember still the door because we...
Yeah. I only went there, I did play there a few times. I don't remember the wall coming down. I played there with Subvert, my first band ever.
Subvert?
Yeah.
We played there with Subvert.
Really?
Yeah. This is like
show?
this was our high school like
I joined at 18. I was told that and all I did previously to that was playing covers. And so I joined them, and they were very much like Parkway Drive, August Burns Red.
What were you playing?
A guitar. My blue LTD, I got 2 of them.
Because I remember... Who's in that band? Now I'm fucking okay. I remember
it was Levi Looper.
Levi Looper was the vocalist.
Westerman. I can't believe I remember
Chris Westerman. Yeah. Justin Peoples was the bassist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
And then the drummer. Oh my god. Keegan. Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, were you in it then?
Yeah.
When I was there?
Well,
no, you might have joined afterwards.
Maybe. Yeah, because we played there I think twice. I think I played my first show ever was Extravaganza that was my first show ever. With The Chariot, Oh Sleeper.
Jesus.
It was a Kevin Dunlap show at Ridgely. Big O Fest. Memphis played it. Suffocate played it. And that was my first show ever, and they told me that I had to play barefoot. I played an Ibanez X-Tone amp head to a Line 6 cab that I'm pretty sure I spray painted red and put like green tape that said fuck you or fuck off on it.
that would make sense because I remember Justin had something on the back of his face.
Yeah, we all did the...
Yeah. No, they did all the tricks because I remember Levi used to do the mic like throws and the wrap around. He was good at it though. Like I remember tried it once and I lost the mic and I was like, I'm never fucking doing that again. I gotta do that.
I think I played 3 shows with them. They're like, I was on vacation with family or something. I get a text from Levi. They're like, sorry, man. I know you just joined, but band's done.
Damn.
What?
I remember to this day the reason I liked them because I think they were like one of our first like band friends that we made because that's how I know.
What band were you in?
Under Oblivion. We had a high school version of it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was a high school version of it. That was the first iteration.
I need to look up these fucking flyers.
They were, we made them. There's two. I'll look them up. I'll find them for you. But they're like,
put it right here.
Yeah. Man, I'm all like, why am I looking over there? They had a song called Tic Tac Big Pack, and I'm like, that shit sounds. I don't know why.
I'm pretty sure I can play that to this day.
But yeah, though they were like our first like band friends that we. But I remember like that's how I knew it was a decline because I'm like, we had played like 3 shows, 3 shows. One at the Ridgely when it had theater seats before they whatever it looks like now. I didn't even know what the.
Oh yeah, that was OG Ridgely.
Yeah. We played like a random. I feel bad for this now, but we played a benefit show for somebody that we had no idea who it was. We just like wanted to be on a show, and I think we emailed somebody, and they were like, "I have this
Dunlap.
show." Actually, you know what? I think it probably was
because he was doing all originally before he came to Rail.
That might have been it.
Yeah.
But I remember that. But we had played like 2 shows at venues, and then we were like, we want a headline, and I like looked it up, and like it was on MySpace because they had like this is the way they had their dates. They had their dates blocked off, and they'd have like band name. Blank, 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 blank. So basically, like
that's
these are the
exactly
blanks.
how the door did it.
Yeah. No, that's the door. That's the door.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, that's the way the door.
Yeah,
was
they would have those blanks. You're like, oh shit, and you're like hurrying up.
Yeah. So I emailed him. He's like, hey, we want a headline. Like, blah blah blah. And he's like, what day? I was like, it's like I'm looking at this. This one's empty. And he's like, you got it.
The slots before they were even done, before the show was booked.
Yeah.
Think back now, that's genius of having the slots open and be like, all right, look at our calendar.
Who wants to do it? Yeah. Who wants to play a show? And that's kind of like, this is weird. So this is like, if we get into like show culture, which I guess we can move on to, that's probably a good subject to move. But like playing shows, I was very like, again, this is even before I consider myself part of the scene because that band broke up before we did like anything in the actual scene. Again, that was like probably one of our last shows that we played, the high school version. But I was just excited to play.
Yeah.
Very much
I'd
just
be
like
shaking to change like my amp to clean.
Yeah. I was just like, man, I just like am having like we played rooms like that were fucking but at the time we were getting into it and it was just like it's just fun. It's just real fun. And I'm looking like nowadays, and that's kind of what I want bands to like feel like I want you to be like have fun, and I don't know how much. Again, I haven't played in a band, so I don't know what to consider, and I am like older, so I don't know what I would consider if I like, let's say I started a band right now, of like weighing it out, like of like this is business versus like this is fun. So like you've been playing in Dispo for how long now?
July will be 10 years.
July will be 10 years of Dispo. Fuck, okay.
We have a plan for that, by the way.
Secret.
When does this come out?
Don't be in trouble.
When does this come out?
Not this week, but the next week.
So I will say there's a re-record from the EP. It's already done. And then we did have a 10-year show planned. And then I got hit up by an agent to have a massive national tour come to Rail. That he so politely said, after I told him, I was like, well, I have a hold on it for this. It is for us, our 10-year. He goes, join them. Bro, they've never played Rail.
Uh-huh.
The tour support band has. They just played here recently with, Clue. They just, the support band just played here with Upon a Burning Body.
You're going to get in trouble.
No, I didn't do the actual name. I don't know when it's going to be announced, but it's...
All right, if you check with the band, you let me know. I will cut all of this out.
It's so big. It's so cool.
That's crazy. But yeah, so you've been playing like again music for a long time with a bunch of bands.
Yeah.
But has Dispo been your longest project?
Yep.
Band?
Yep. Longest one. I think Soundings did maybe 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And Dispo, I'm the only original member left. Well, technically Dally is too. He was there whenever we were writing the EP, but then he quit.
Really?
Yeah.
That was Remnants of Rome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Amish beard, no mustache.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Dally.
Fuck you, Dally. The fuck you, Dally counter's back.
Jameson's the next one that's been the longest. But yeah, we've been, July's 10 years.
What do you feel has changed in your perspective? Like,
I just had this conversation with Jeff Ogle today on the phone from Lockjaw. We were talking about the we were on the phone. The show's 2 weeks away. Our benefit show here at Rail, March 22nd. we were talking logistics because I needed to figure out, because Lockjaw has a soundboard and Fly By Fire has a soundboard, and I was like, I can't have 3 soundboards for 5 bands in here. Yeah. So trying to figure that out, and we kind of stopped for a second, and he goes, dude, I'm not doing the stress shit this year. I'm not doing it, because we toured with him last year for almost 2 weeks, and like it's rough. Touring's rough. It's showing up to a venue that says load ins at this time. They don't open the load in door till like 30 minutes or an hour later. Like you roll with the punches. But he was talking about like advancing shows and making sure the venue knows that, hey, we're going to be here at 2:00 or something. And we kind of had this moment, and he goes, when did this stop? Isn't this supposed to be fun? Like, when did this stop being fun? I was like, I have fun like driving to the place. I have fun on stage, but everything else, I was like, it feels like a straight up 9 to 5. It's like, don't get me wrong, I love it. And he goes, no, I love it too. I love the camaraderie and hanging out with all your friends and stuff like that. I was like, I know, but I guess in the back of my head, I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, yeah, we're hanging out with friends. Yeah, we can have a couple drinks. We're having fun, but in like an hour, we're going to have to load all this heavy shit up, put it in the trailer, go where we're going to the next stop. And the driving part's my favorite part. But the loading up and the end of the night and everything's over, that's the part that gets really old for me. And then finding out, I think what he was talking about was the main issue of why he said he wasn't having fun anymore is the logistics. The day of, like, hey, we sent y'all in advance, like all national tours do. They send you a tech rider, they send you a stage plot, a green room rider, all that stuff. So whenever they show up, this is what they expect. And a lot of the times it doesn't happen ever. We just do buyouts and all this other stuff. I always try to make sure that they at least have a case of water backstage for every national band, all that other stuff. But I completely understand that this is a job. Because they're going out for weeks, months at a time. They attempt to do the advance, and they send you all the information that they can, but a lot of the time these venues just don't do it.
Yeah.
That seems to be a big problem with some companies here.
The information thing?
Yeah.
I've heard that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, which...
You know,
which is weird. I mean, I'll just go like from when we started doing stuff. It was kind of an interesting like moment to have with like, okay, now we're like, we used to play shows, like now we're booking them. Like, so what's the difference here? And then like all just came down to like, okay, what kind of stuff did we like want? What can we? What would we want? And then what can we provide? Like, so, you know, I know shit like, you know, like we don't have the money to provide people like these like extensive riders and shit like that, or all these things, but like, what can we do? And information was the first one on that list. It's like, oh, we can tell them like what their pay scale is, like up front, like day of, like we can tell them exactly when to be there.
That you sent me.
Like,
that is my favorite thing ever. It has any question, I'll be like, oh, well, what about? Nope, it's on there.
Down to the fucking Wi-Fi password.
Dude,
like, the time everybody sound
the NoiseROT
PDFs
like are my favorite. The only one that tops y'all is Van Full of Nuns.
Yeah, we learned that.
They come in with a binder, and they're like, this is everything.
Oh, man, they actually, so that... So we worked like a few events for them, and we got sent like their like list of stuff just for us, and we're just like, DJ was like, holy shit, like I thought I was like doing good, and but then like now DJ took like shit from them and it's like, okay, this is how organized, like when down to like, I mean they're down to like the playlist, like when this goes on, like this playlist should go on, like when this goes, this is the playlist you go on. That is the most organized
show to this day that I've ever been a part of, worked, whatever. They played here, packed the place out. Yeah. And they just walk in and hand my sound guy Dale just a binder. And we're just going through stuff. Because Dale plays in Poo Live Crew, so he knows all the crazy ins and outs of these bigger shows and cover bands, tribute bands, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we were both just sitting there just going through this binder. We're like, this is everything we've ever wanted. This gives us all the information.
Literally like, all of it.
These bands, I'm telling you, if you send us the information, it gets to where it needs to go most of the time. I promise. But Yeah,
they're definitely one of the ones that was like, oh shit, this is how it, like, and it's one of those where you see them and it's like, okay, cool, we can step up and do this stuff. But like and then it just proves in like how well they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like this is why they're doing well. Like on top of like everything that they do, like they know their market, they know what they're doing, but also like they are organized as fuck to where nothing's getting fucked up like on their watch.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
Because I can definitely see like after booking certain bands for years and years, like from Tomcats to here to Big Rob's, just over the years, I've seen like certain agents or tour managers or whatever it is sending advances and stuff where you can tell where they're really trying and they're really keeping on top of their stuff. And then you can see my favorite quote is that like, we'll be nice to you on the way up if you're nice to us on the way down or something like that. Just talking about, because we've had some real dickhead bands come through. And the one thing I do say about Rail, and even at Tomcats, I was like, if you're playing here, you're either on your way up or on your way down. We're not your peak. We're not your peak venue.
Yeah.
Like, we are a technically mid-sized venue. So we've had everyone, like we can have local shows here with 50 people here and be fine. And then we've hosted 80s rock stars, Brett Michaels, Lita Ford, all those people here that it's the polar opposites of where you can really see of, example, Peter Dante. I know I'm kind of random, but Hollywood movie star, nicest guy I've ever worked with at a show in my entire life. He's in the crowd all night, shaking hands, kissing babies, and we thought Hollywood guy, he's going to be, oh God, we're going to be running our ass off all night. No, the nicest guy. And then
deciding whether
trying to put this, another band that was around the same time that show was, came in that used to be decently big. Like Dante was so easy. It was the easiest night, most fun night. Staff had a blast. Customers, fans had a blast. Packed. Next one, packed. But I ran my ass off all night for nothing. Shit that I'm being told day of, where you can see they're like, we do things a certain way. God, I'm trying not to give this away. They do things a certain way. And I was like, well, that's not how we do it here. They're like, well, that's how we do it. And I'm like, then cancel the show, because I don't have the things that you need in order to make this happen, clearly. And of course they give in. Being too vague, it doesn't make sense, but it was rough. Like, we get to see the polar opposites of people that you think is going to be the roughest thing to deal with, to what you think is you have a history with, you think it's going to be easy, and it's the complete opposite. It's very strange of just attitudes and egos, and you see them all in here. And usually the older guys are the nicest. Josie Scott, he's coming up at the end of the month.
But you've had him before, right?
Guy ever. Yeah, I've had him twice before. Nicest dude. He remembered my dog's name the second time he came in. I was like, this is so cool. I used to listen to you while I played Spider-Man on GameCube. I'm going to cry. This is so sick.
And now you know my dog's name.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. No, the ego thing is weird. And especially with it's like the place you're playing, because more than likely, I mean, hopefully you're touring again, and wouldn't you want a good experience the first time, so that the people who are working for I mean, venue is like service, to the point. So it's if you're coming back, you'd want them to help you out with the shit that you need to do while you're playing your show, all the stuff, the convenience stuff. But if you're a dickhead, then no one's gonna go an extra mile for you.
I think those are the people that really just see it as a business, kind of what we were talking about earlier. Those are the main people that are just not having a good time, or they're worn out, or because people have to take into account they're normal. Because I used to meet all these people. I'm with Bam, and I'd take him out to dinner, and whenever you play here, and I'm just starstruck, and you just want them to be the way they are on TV, or you see in behind the scenes or music videos, whatever it is. They all normal. It's the cliche thing. We're just a normal person. They really are. And we've had people in here that had their best days, like Dante. And we've had people in here that are just super rock stars that have had their worst. I got yelled at for moving a monitor by an 80s rock star, and I almost cried. I was like 21, and he lit me the fuck up.
Shit.
Because he had all his monitors taped, and I moved it, and he just laid into me. And I was like, dude, we have opening bands. I'm stage manager.
Yeah.
This is what I was told to do. And he lost it. I was like, I ruined the whole show. He's pissed. But yeah, you see them on their worst days and their best days here. And it goes back to if you're playing these size venues, you're either on their way up or on your way down. We had Wage War's first tour ever here.
Really?
At Chelsea Grin, first major tour maybe. That Chelsea Grin 40-day festival. They looked scared as shit. I don't know if something was wrong with their gear or something, but we were all backstage, and I was stage managing. And yeah, Wage War, they went up to stadiums. They're doing arenas now.
Yeah, arenas.
Yeah, arenas-ish.
Big ass venues, yeah.
But they're here, and then they just skyrocket, and then you get to see the other bands that were there, and then they're back here. It's very funny.
Played for here actually. We opened for, I think the biggest show I ever played was we opened for Atreyu here.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was, I think, Kane Hill was on that, and I was like, right at the beginning, yeah.
We've had Kane Hill here a bunch. I think the biggest one I did here was either that Upon a Burning Body one, where we did like the wall from the front of the stage to the speed bar.
Yeah.
Or the Buck Cherry show, where we all wore like spandex and guy liner and painted our nails. And it's like Zalen's second show ever. And we told them we were like cock rock it up a little bit. Like, don't scream. Just do hell yeah, brother vocals the whole time. And he tried.
He was like, no.
But we had one little like 3-person pit in the middle of the floor, but it was just nuts to butts all the way back.
Nuts to butts, yeah.
All the way back.
Yeah, it's some fucking good times here, man. I honestly, and I think I told you, like, when I found out you were taking over, it's like, that like just made me happy. Well, I think you heard, like, I was talking maybe on the podcast about it, but that was just like, oh, that makes me fucking like excited. Because again, like, it's just seeing your fucking like work ethic, man. It's the kind of same conversation I think I had with like Zalen. And it's really cool. Again, from an outsider's perspective, I know it's like a fucking headache. I know it's like all this shit. And I don't know like up to what extent, like I'm not going through it with you, but seeing like you just fucking keep going, like, to me that's what like is the inspiring part. And it's like, fuck, like you're still like figuring out a way, like keep fucking doing it, and then doing cool shit. And then like, again, like understanding it, being a part of like that side of the scene now, like I see like how important like those pieces really are to like, again, to the newer generation of people coming through and coming to shows for the first time and experiencing this, like, cause like if you're in it, you get to the gist or whatever until like you start maybe not understanding, maybe you don't adapt to what like it's going to do. But I know how important that is for somebody new coming into it. And it might be just because in my experience, like again, I feel like I was late coming into like a scene. Like I didn't grow up.
I felt like
in
I was late too.
Yeah, I didn't grow up in a scene. Like
everyone told me they were 15, like 16.
Same thing.
Started,
yeah,
I was like, fuck, I was 18.
Yeah, I get that a lot from from Bern in NoiseROT. Like she's like been around shows and whatever, like since she was like young, and I'm like I was like in my 20s, like mid 20s, like to when I started really like participating and being friends and with people and going out to shows and seeing like what can be put on and stuff like that, and then playing in a band and being part of it. But I did get lucky in like how welcoming like my community was with that, and I think it was in a time where I was hearing a lot of people like were real shitty, and I lucked out. Like I don't know, and I probably has to do with how like I approach things. At first, when I came into the band, I was very like, this has got to be like everything else. It's a competition. Like you want to be better than all these other people.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I came.
There's still kind of remnants of that in a lot of these shows too. That
Definitely,
I feel, especially local shows where we always get hit with like, well, I don't want to open. I'm like, well, somebody has to open. Like I'm not doing it to like say go fuck yourself or anything, but like somebody has to open. And I don't want to do the whole like whatever tickets you sell determines what slot you're in. I hate that, but then you're still the bad guy when someone has to open.
Then you're like, maybe that's just the black and white way to do it.
Yeah.
Which I think is why, like,
I do dream of it of times whenever I get those messages. I'm like, this might have been the way.
And this is so. I mean, I think we were gonna get into it a little bit, but it's weird being on that side. I think of it of like, okay, how do I do these things and determine and like but again, because I think. Again, I know my perspective is skewed because the way I came into it, that was the rules. And me, I was just like, oh, that's the way it is. You know what I mean? So I was never like, it should be different or whatever. Yeah. But it was just like, you got to sell, 10, 20 tickets. Yeah. I'm like, cool, that's the job. Let's do it.
They take it so personally.
And I promise
you, I don't even know y'all's band.
That's what changed is that I never took it as that. Mine was just like, that's the way they roll here. Like, I want to play.
If we're opening, that's what we're going to promote. We want to get our people out there at that time. And that's what we're just going to push that as hard as we can. And we'll be the craziest band that's ever opened or something. Like, just silver lining it. It's like half class full.
It's very like a go-getter attitude of just like, let's do it. Like, it was like, and I get like there was people in our band like that didn't pull their weight in tickets, but I was always like, dude, there's 5 of us. They're asking for 20 tickets. It's 4 a piece. 25. That's 5 a piece. You know what I mean? Like,
me and you have the same mentality. It's not fucking
hard. It's very like, let's just again play a good show and do well. Because I always knew like it just made sense in my head. Like, if I do well,
good for the promoter because you can get on more shows.
That's what it was. Like, they're gonna ask us to play more. They're not gonna worry about. And at first, it made sense because I'm like, they don't know us. You know what I mean? Like, they well, whatever. But I do. And then I do get like, again, like the extremes of like pay to play, like it's different because people call like, I don't know if we were talking about it, but like people call pre-sales pay to play, but it's not really pay to play.
We did talk about that.
Yeah.
Pay to play, just so everybody fucking knows. Pay to play is if we tell you to sell 100 tickets and you sell 40 of them and I make you give me the money for the 60 tickets that you didn't sell. I have never done that. We have never will do that. But that is pay to play. Pre-sale tickets are not pay to play.
And pay to play is usually like where like it really gets into you pay for those tickets up front.
Yeah.
So you pay your fee of whatever you get, and they give you which is very common practice. I remember talking to I can't remember what his name was, but he was talking about it's just common practice. He's like, and it's not even that bad.
They spent like what $300 for a slot.
Yeah. It's like slots, and then they give you.
Could you imagine
you can make
telling one of these bands in DFW like, if you want to play this show, you got to pay me $300 for this slot.
Yeah.
We should be dragged.
I literally was just watching a video about a guy talking about it. And it was funny because I'm like, we were just talking about that. But he was like, like that's what pay to play. And I love that more people are like reiterating like what the fact is. Like, no, that's like when they make you pay for a slot.
Right.
He's like, and then it also looks bad.
I've never experienced that.
And then, I mean, people used to do it with their pre-sales. They would just buy them on. And like,
I've heard Crown the Empire used to do it back in like the day days.
Yeah.
Where like, someone gives a stack of tickets. They're like, cool, here's the money. And they just give them away to these kids. And they would have a packed show every single time.
See,
there's a good way of doing it.
That's like a risk you're taking. You're like paying for all, you're losing it. But
they're all in high school. So you can just give them to everybody. So it's genius.
And again, what we were just talking about, like, those like kids are coming out to shows. Like, they need some shit to do. So if you give them a free ticket to something, they'll come out. You look fucking insane. Like, I mean, like you have a great crowd reception because like they're there for free. They're there just to have fun. They know you, so they're gonna like interact. It works for you. So there's like these calculated risks and stuff like that. But there was something like to like when I started discovering like pay scales and things like that. I was like, when they would tell you it's like X amount of tickets, you make this much after this, and I'm like, so if I sell this many, we can make this much.
Right.
Cool. Let's fucking go like sell a shit ton to get paid. Yep. You know what I mean? Like,
we used to do like, and still to this day, we sometimes just go print off 100 flyers or something and just hit up surrounding areas and just tattoo shops, pawn shops, guitar centers, anything you think of that'll allow you to throw up a flyer in their window or something like that. We still do it.
Yeah. There was. And again, I'm not in a band anymore, so I don't know what aspect it is now. But I remember being very much that attitude. It's like, well, let me try like my best
Hustle.
to benefit me. Like, I won't lie, like I was in the selfish manner. I wasn't thinking about like how well is the show gonna do, how well is the promoter gonna do. I was more like, what can I get out of this?
Exactly.
Like, oh, I get paid if I sell this many. Fucking cool. You know what? One thing we did.
It's the same. It's the same thing of if what can I get out of this? But you're selling the tickets though. That snowballs into helping the promoter, getting the national band their guarantee, and all this other thing.
I always just felt guilty, like not pulling my weight.
Yeah,
because. Yes, I was like, I get to play this show. That's how it kind of was.
That's why I'd come out of pocket.
Yeah, and I was just like, I would buy some of my tickets and then give those away. Like that was if I just couldn't make that because I'm like, I don't want to look like I couldn't sell the minimum.
100%.
And it was always just like a few tickets. It wasn't ever like crazy, but I always wanted to make sure I was like doing my best or my part to be part of the scene or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be the weakest.
And I do I wish like I had the money to just be like, yes, you can fucking play and I'm just giving you money. Fuck yes. Yeah. But like I always like tell people like I was like we don't make like you so I've had the interaction where people think like you guys make a lot of money on this and I'm like who the fuck like told you that? Like we do this because we fucking love to do it. I go look at all the shit that we do. And that's just because like we're just trying to hustle and put on some cool things, and we like the thing.
Same thing here.
It's very like it's very what's that? Yeah, it's like that thing where like it's. I mean, I heard like Mr. Beast talking about it, like where he's like, all the money just gets put into the next shit. And I'm like,
money's
that's
not
pretty much.
At this point, to me, money is not real. It's just numbers on a screen, and I have to send some numbers to other people. Some people send me numbers, and then it's just because I have to run numbers on POS systems and alcohol sales and ticket sales.
You got
all these
shit ton of numbers.
So it's all numbers to me now. Like cash, I'm like, this isn't real. This is fake money. Just give it away. Yeah. And that pays for things, I guess. But it's very strange.
Yeah, there's different things. And I could like bitch and gripe about it. I love the community a bit. And there's attempts we try. I remember like the last Chill Sounds we did a deal with the bands where we're like, the first month, tickets are like $15. Yeah. You can have it all. And it was literally like, if you sell 10 tickets, that's $150 that you get rid of it. We had like a few bands. We had like 2 bands make okay. But I was just like, because like I was, at the thought of me being in a band, I was salivating. I'm like, this fucking deal is unheard of. You know what I mean? Like, if I was in a band, like I'd be fucking
20 tickets is $300.
Feeling this shit right now. And I'm just like, that's insane. And I was like, oh, like nobody, like not a lot of people tried or whatever.
Dude, the hustle, and I'm not saying
that shit was expensive for us. We were just like, we spent so much money on all this.
Yeah,
like,
it's a risk. Yeah. It's like an attempt to make the event successful. That we do the same, like the Josie show that I was talking about. Me and Palone were talking about. We said, screw it. Let's make the first 200 tickets. If you use this promo, you get half off. So the $20 ticket turns into a $10 ticket.
Yeah.
And it is just hotcakes.
Yep.
But I've noticed with like, I'm not saying all local bands.
No.
But I will say majority of the ones, I mean, and you can tell who they are. I'm not like, no one comes to mind whenever I say it, but I will just say from going and doing all this photography and going to all these different venues and all these different shows and then running my own venue and then being in a band and playing with these other bands, it's the hustle. We've all talked about it in like the business side of booking shows. The hustle's gone. It really feels like there's maybe a handful in DFW that I can name off that like truly market themselves and hustle and really try to like just do content, just to do tickets, not just like post a flyer, hey guys, we're playing a show, and then you don't hear anything after that.
I think,
money doesn't move anyone anymore.
Maybe it's like social media.
Yeah.
Like,
but even if like what you said, you give them 100% of the first month of the $15 tickets. No one sold any.
Because I know the importance of, I don't know. I think maybe it's just that in-person, like real interaction. And again, like I that's the era that I grew up in, where like if I was selling a ticket, I was having to go meet up with people and stuff like that. I was too. But I do get how hard, like it is harder. I think we were talking about this like
little
a different
drug
day,
deals everywhere.
To be like, oh, like come to the show, there's just a link. Like I hope you do it. You know what I mean? But there is something about like, I'm gonna make the sale, let's do it now. You know, like figuring out ways to do that.
We're guilty of that too. Dispo switched to strictly online, And at first, it worked incredibly, where we just turn in a will call list. Here's our 100 tickets, 75 tickets, whatever it was. It was great.
Yeah.
I'd say the last year-ish, give or take, tanked. They absolutely tank. And even now, I print tickets off for almost every single event here at Rail, and bands come pick them up. And I've noticed that even if they're like, oh, we can only sell like 10 or something like that, I'm like, you know what, just sell what you can. And that's when I have to do the whole, like, you don't have to give me the difference. They come in, they're like, oh, no, dude, we sold like 20, 25. I'm like, see?
Yeah.
And that shows me that I'm like, well, maybe
I'm definitely
we should switch back to
very
physicals.
like big believer in like that in-person interaction. It's just like, again, that's another like cost to shit. Like, you know, tickets, unless you're printing them yourself, and then you still got to buy them and stuff like that.
Still expensive.
Yeah. But like, I remember like when we ordered tickets like for one event, I think one time, and the shipping was like, I can't remember how much it was, but it was
tickets?
it was more than the tickets. I'm like, we just paid $100 for fucking tickets. They got turned back into us, and it was just like, I was like, I don't know. So like, and this is just me bitching like right now at this point. It's not like literally like what I feel like all the time, because like it's just the noticing that like, okay, that playing field has changed. You know what I mean? Like it's the
way
same
different from the door days. And
so I'm just trying to like, now it's just like figuring out like, okay, what is it now? You know, how do you get these people like out? Because like, I mean,
well, there's so much shit to do now. People aren't like what you said earlier of like looking on a website and seeing like what shows are going on, or just showing up to a place and see what's going on. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, man. Even I think about like myself, like when me and DJ did a thing for like a few months years ago, but it was like Tuesdays. We'd literally call it Take Me Out Tuesdays. We would like go out on Tuesday, go look at like the normal venues around town. It's like, is there a show playing? Cool, we're gonna show up, like whatever it is, and we're just like going to stuff.
Cool.
You know what I mean? And I was like, that's
really
kind of
cool.
neat.
And I hate to say that's so old school.
It is old school. It is fucking old school.
That sounds fun as shit.
But there's a community thing about it, because like I would think I always bring this up, but it's always like the hardcore community is the only one I know that like those people go out to see the same bands over and over and over.
I've noticed that too.
And they
only want to do house shows.
And they like do, you know, like small venues, stuff like that. They want to do shit for free. But or like low ticket price, but they have the numbers to show up. You know what I mean? So it works for them. But every other genre doesn't have that around town. As far as what I can tell, like that organic, like we're just showing up. Like every other genre takes the hustle, the marketing, the like, we need to push this show. Like in hardcore, like it's a very like tightly knit community, and it's very easy to be a part of, from what I can see. And those people just like, we're hanging out, and I feel like that's where I still get that same vibe. But every other like genre, I don't know, metalcore, whatever you want to call it, like you need to have like
a thing.
You need to have a thing. You need to push it. You need to space your shows out. That's where I do like tell like literally the only genre I tell them you don't have to do shit about spacing your shows out is the hardcore scene.
Yeah, I think that's what the magic was. Well,
no. It's the light, but I saw like it looks like a shadow movie, and I was. I was like, oh shit.
I saw that look.
I literally got scared. Because I thought I saw like a person's shadow, but it's the light. All right. I
think the magic of Tomcats was kind of like the hardcore scene of what you're saying, of like, it was small enough where you, like I said, you were having the regulars come in and just there for a show.
Yeah.
But we were only open for events. But we had so many, we became this like, oh, there's probably something going on in Tomcats.
See, that's what literally clicked in the head.
We're only open when we have events, and we're open maybe once to twice a week, if that. Sometimes
that's what clicked in my head when you said like 25 like events a month.
That's the rule I've always set for myself from Rustin.
Tomcats was open. That Tomcats was always open. I thought it was a bar. Like when I first, I'm like, because there was always shit going.
Briefly.
Yeah,
it was briefly. They tried to do 7 days a week. It just
I remember that. But even before that official change to like, oh, it's 7 days a week, I was like, this place always has like something. I go, the live music is just part of the bar. Like they just have stuff here. Like sometimes it's a show, but
weekends were always for the bigger shows, the nationals or tours or whatever it was. And of course, those tours would fall in on our dates in middle of the week sometimes. And And then, of course, your Thursdays and your Sundays. This is all Rustin talk. Thursdays and your Sundays were all reserved for like local shows. If you did anything during the week, we would do like comedy, like stand up stuff. We would do burlesque shows, but always the bigger shows always fall on the weekend if they could. And he would somehow do 3, 4, sometimes 5. There was, I think, a couple weeks in a row when we were just cooking. I wasn't booking nothing. It was just Rustin. Like very rarely the outside promoters and stuff would come in and throw shows too. But Rustin was the guy that could do 25 dates a month, every single month. Besides like maybe December.
We love that shit, man.
It is nuts.
Yeah. But R.I.P. Rustin. Yeah, man. Setting on something happy. What are some locals right now that you really like?
Locals?
Why not?
With Hope and Tack pops out to me pretty quickly. Nigma is always one that pops out to me quickly. Atlantic Blue pops out quick. Mona Borland, of course. Always gotta give them. Yeah.
Fucking crazy ass dude. Man. Cody's fucking awesome.
I just saw that Matt left Post Profit today.
Yeah. Literally, DJ sent that to us today.
I screenshot it and sent it to the Dispo chat. I was like, what the fuck?
He was Post Profit, man.
Yeah, dude, I love that guy. I love that band. That band is so good.
Post Profit. Matt, dude, I found Matt in Windwalkers. I remember the exact moment. It was fuck.
They stole my drummer. They stole Clay.
Oh yeah,
fuckers.
I do remember. I remember hearing that dude saying "Matt." I'm just like, who the fuck is that?
He has this, and I'm pretty sure he wrote most of the Post Profit stuff, but he has this gift for hooks. Where because you can totally tell he's a guitarist too, because his vocal lines would always hook into the riff somehow.
Yeah.
And that's what speaks to me. I don't listen to vocals ever. I just listen to guitar or rhythm or whatever it is. But God, his would hook in with those guitars so perfectly.
Yeah.
He had it. I don't know what he said. He's doing a solo career or something.
I'm not gonna lie. Like the bad thing was like, I'm gonna have him on. I need to know what the fuck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I want to talk to. Yeah, he's definitely one of the persons that I was like. Yeah, I was always fans of vocalists though. Like obviously, because I mean, as a vocalist, so like him, Lucas from Hollowell, like I remember just being fucking obsessed with.
Oh man, Lucas Cote.
Hey, Lucas Cote.
He's a country singer now
in Laredo?
In Granbury.
He played while I proposed to Sierra.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
literally
cool.
the first time we met was at when we were doing noise nights at the Post.
Damn.
And the band Laredo was headlining, and
dude, he's so good.
He's really fucking good. So fucking talented. And who else is in that band? The other singer. He got a real big beard. I want to say his name is Clay, but it might not be. But I saw him, he did like a solo set for like our Rod Swap series. That fucker can sing. He's so fucking good. God damn.
Yeah, I was always obsessed with him. Really when he came in and took over for David and then turned it into Hollowell. Oh, man.
Yeah. I literally did that band made no sense when it broke up to me. I'm just like,
I know.
How is this shit this fucking good? And how is it gone? And I hate there's a fucking EP.
It shook everybody.
There's an EP. There's 2 songs available that you can still find. There was an EP with 4. And I remember having that bitch and I fucking lost it. And I asked every time I see like him or Dialogue. Brandon's Dialogue now, right? That's what he goes by.
Huh?
Brandon Crabtree. What's his producer name now?
I have no idea. I think he was. What was that chick's name he was producing? Something, not Barbie.
Oh, Lardy B? Yeah,
Lardy
so
B,
Dialogue. Yeah. So, but every time I see Brandon or I see Lucas, I'm like, I know that shit exists.
Yeah.
I need you to leak this shit to me.
He's like, they don't give a shit.
He's like, we might put it out. And I'm like, no, just give it to me. Like, I won't leak. I literally will treasure this shit.
They don't care.
Yeah. No, but I'm like, like and I love that. That's one of the things that made me fall in love with the scene. With doing what I do now is just like I am legit like a fan of like bands that are fucking here. You know what I mean? Like bands that are like getting going. Like and just I see it and I'm be like, they're so fucking good. And
it's so hard for me sometimes. Like I'm so jaded to it now, where I have to look at it as a business so much. And there's very rare times that there's been a few times where I'm like walking through the crowd with like an empty pizza tray or something, or walking out with a hot pizza in my hand. And like, a band, it's rare, but a band will finally catch my attention where I'm like, oh, holy shit. And I always give a look to Dale, like our sound guy, and I'll finally come up to him. He goes, hey, what the fuck? I was like, this is really fucking good.
Yeah.
And it's such a refreshing, like, it doesn't happen often. I wish it would more, but just with how jaded I am, and I've been around it for so long, and a live show is work. Like, it's all work, but there's those rare times still where I'm like, okay, I'm going to appreciate it. Like, we were over at Home Plate a week or two ago, and they're doing jam night, and it's Tyrell Choate, one of the best guitarists in DFW ever. I don't know the drummer's name, but I ended up getting his number afterwards. They hit this weird pocket in this dive bar place. I don't even think anything was mic'd up or anything. But they're just jamming, and I look over, and everyone in this bar is standing up, either taking a video or just like looking at me. They're like, "Well, you need to get them around." I was like, "I don't know what the fuck is happening right now," but they're in the zone. Like, everyone in that place, it was the first time I felt like I was back at the Door or the Bandwagon or something, and everyone was just like, "What is happening?" It was the coolest thing ever.
Fucking great ass.
That was the first time that's happened in so long.
It is, yeah. I had a friend who was in the business, and when we started, like, I got to a point where, like, I was like, I don't go to shows anymore, this and that. And he's like, it's kind of hard when you make it work, right? And he's like, yeah, I haven't been to a concert, like, on my own, like, in a while. Like, it's all been me working shows.
Photography is the only thing that got me into it back again, of going back to live shows, like, in between venues and stuff when I was just doing T-shirts. Photography was the thing. I was like, oh, it's a Wednesday. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, I keep saying it, but it's definitely something that I want, especially because, like, again, we were talking about, like, the thing with me and DJ were just going out to, like, shows. I'm like, I would fucking love to just be out somewhere. Like, I don't want to heavily invest in anything. Like, just fucking looking for some casual fun. Just maybe hang out with this band for a little bit. But it just to experience it as someone, like, I want to see bands that I don't know again, like, and see them for the first time. Yeah. And just, like, have a fucking moment, man.
I think I was telling you, I finally, like, we have this form that bands fill out that if you want to play here, you fill it out. Genre, hometown, all this other stuff. And so when no one pops into my mind for a national show, I go to our submission forms, and those are the ones that I've been discovering these bands. I'm like, y'all are local to Fort Worth? They're like, we've been a band for a couple years, and I've never heard of them, never anything. And these have been the bands that have, like, hey, we need more pre-sale tickets. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? They're like, we sold them all. I'm like, I'll print you more right now. I will leave my house. It's midnight. I will go up to rail and print you tickets right now. Absolutely. I will cater. I will cater to them so much. And these are the bands that I'm like, I would very rarely go to the submission forums, because I'm like, okay, I have certain bands in mind for this show, this genre, whatever. And so I just hit this point where I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go through this. There's like 500. And so it's rough. Yeah. So it's a monotonous type of thing where you just clicking and trying to find someone local that's not Abilene, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, all that, Oklahoma. But that has, crazily enough, like, worked, where it's these hungry bands again. Yeah. And they're like, hey, how many tickets do you think you sell? Hoping they say, like, 20 or 30. And they're like, 50 to 75 be okay? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're on the show. What else do you need? What else do you need? Whatever it is, you have it. So, yeah, it's cool. They're still out there. There's so many fucking bands in DFW, or just Fort Worth in general.
Just gotta go out to find them. Luckily, they're out there, man.
They really are.
Cool thing, and like what you do, what I do, we get to fucking find a lot of those, man.
Yeah.
And I always consider it like fucking blessing, whatever you want to call it. But I've been, like, lucky enough to have experienced that, and just, like, again, finding these people that are just, like, super fucking talented, fucking crying at a local artist because they're playing a song I've never heard for the first time, and I'm fucking like, why am I? I'm like, there's tears running down my face. Like, having moments where, like, I feel something for, like, artists that are getting going, or artists that have been doing it for a while. They're just like, no one knows who they are. I'm like, this moment exists. But man, I just know how important that is. I love that you've been a part of it for so fucking long, and
I definitely love it.
And doing it with, like, the right intention behind it. I mean, there's shit that we fight. There's stuff like, I mean, if you've made it through the whole podcast, like, I mean, I've been bitching about stuff like at some points. It's like, even on top of all that shit, like I am still gonna do this, like, because that's how much I fucking love. That's what I want to like iterate. Like, as much as like shit I've been talking to, I won't stop doing it. It's like, because I fucking love doing it.
Me and Paloma will yell and scream at each other. I'll be here 10 a.m. the next day for 12 to 16 hours, like. Or I'll just be the weekend before, kick the shit out of me, and we lost all sorts of money, because I do this strictly because I love it.
Yeah.
I know eventually there could be some payoff in it somehow, monetarily or anything, but there's no money in this shit. Like, for startups, and like I promise you, this is a labor of love. I just truly give a shit. I've worked every job in this industry, including being a band. I know what I wanted as being a band, like y'all said, and knowing how, as a security, as a bartender, as a bar back, as a sound guy, as a box office person, I know what I wanted and what the venue or whatever I was at to do for me, with me, or what I wanted the venue or promoter to do for my band, or whatever we asked for. So I try to go over and beyond. I try to do the 10 to 12 hours a day up here, like 3 or 4 times. I heard that too. 3 or 4 times a week.
He's like, wrap it up.
And it's like, it's the hardest work I've ever done, ever. And it has me pulling my fucking hair out and stressed out beyond belief. Late nights all the time. It's a strain on the family. It's a strain on just life in general. But like, there's this weird, like, I don't know if it's a dangling carrot or like the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's always right there. Because the highs in this industry are the highest of highs you'll ever feel. But the low, and they change in a fucking heartbeat. You'll be on the highest of high, and you'll get some sort of news or an email from an agent or something, and you'll be at a sold out show where you're like, hey, you forgot about this $10,000 deposit. And I'm like, I'm stoked that I made $3,000 tonight. Now I gotta send fucking $7,000 as a deposit tomorrow. Or it's the highest of highs in this shit is the best you'll ever feel, but the lowest are the lowest of lows. So it's such a give and take, and consistency is key, and putting in the hours. I mean, there's never enough hours in the day to finish everything you want. I make a to-do list every single day. I'll maybe knock out 80 to 90% of it. And then it's just like, fuck it, I guess I'll try it again tomorrow. And it's the same thing. Yeah. Over and over and over. It's awesome. I truly do love it. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't be doing it right now.
Yeah. No same person would.
Fucking hard.
Yeah. But definitely from someone who's like benefited from it, and for someone who's just seen it happen, man, like I really appreciate like everything you fucking do. I appreciate you for doing the podcast.
Oh, I appreciate y'all doing it here. It's so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And then thank you for giving us a home, man. But yeah, thank you. Anything else you got for that?
All tickets for all events are on therailclub.net. Outside promoter shows, everything. You can also sign up for our monthly memberships, where you can get into every single Rail Club show, not outside promoters. You can get into every single Rail Club show every single month. It's $50 a month, and it's just 50 flat. You can come to every single Rail Club show every month. And all the tickets are on the railclub.net. And everything Dispo is on dispositionstx.com. So stream us, listen to us, make us famous, so I don't have to do this. Well, I'd still do this, but make us famous so I can just fucking listen to us.
Just do it.
Jesus.
Listen to Dispo. Long live Dispo. Long live the rail. Let's fucking do this. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This has been episode 134 with Ethan Massey.
Thank you, buddy.
We will see you next time.